member for Bruce-Grey-Owen Sound.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, look, I'll ask the Minister a very simple, nonpartisan question. I'll refer to him to the NSICOP's annual 2019 report, which has over 50 pages, Chapter 2 on foreign interference. Specifically, it has 6 key findings, 3 key recommendations, all unredacted, available to the public, but a report that went straight to the Prime Minister. Two-part question. First part is, why has this government not taken any action on those 3 recommendations put forth by the nonpartisan NSICOP committee? And finally, the last recommendation in particular refers to both the very first report NSICOP produced around the Prime Minister's trip to India and the allegations tied to that, and I'll quote, "In the interest of national security, members of the House of Commons and Senate should be briefed upon being sworn in and regularly thereafter on the risks of foreign interference and extremism in Canada," unquote. So I think it'd be unfair to ask the Minister how many times since he's become, since the start of this government, but since he's become the Minister of Public Safety, has he personally ensured opposition members have been briefed, sworn in at the appropriate level on foreign interference in Canada?
Well, Minister of Public Safety.
Madam Speaker, it's my commitment to work with my honourable colleague and all members in this chamber to be sure that they are briefed in the appropriate forums, including when it comes to the National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians. Again, a committee that this government created not only to raise the bar of transparency, but to promote and foster greater collaboration across partisan lines. My colleague cites recommendations. He then posits that no action has been taken. I would respectfully disagree. In fact, we are acting on a number of recommendations that have put forward by the National Security Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians, including most recently, and I would highlight for his benefit, the creation of a national coordinator that will be situated within my ministry to combat against foreign interference. Is there more work to be done on those recommendations? Without question. And again, it is my commitment to him and to all members of this chamber to work without any prejudice towards partisanship to do this work together when it comes to fighting foreign interference. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, so in the National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians 2019 annual report, the committee recommended to the Prime Minister that MPs should be briefed regularly on foreign interference. I asked the Minister the same question just earlier in the debate, and he refused to answer. Donc, ma question simple.
So my simple question for my colleague from the Bloc. How often was the Bloc Québécois briefed by the Liberal government on foreign election interference over the last 3 years? The Honourable Member for La Prairie. I'd like to thank my colleague for his question. I'm going to look at my papers. The answer is 0 times.
Bruce-Grey-Owen Sound.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. But before I get to my specific question, I do want to quote Sean McFate in his book, The New Rules of War, where he quotes, "Secrets and democracy are not compatible. Democracy thrives in the light of information and transparency," unquote. My colleague spoke about the importance of transparency around that and about needed action in taking the partisan rhetoric out of it. NSICOP, in its 2019 annual report to the Prime Minister, and it was tabled here in the House in a redacted form, although the findings and recommendations under its 50 pages tied to foreign interference are all unredacted. There was 3 recommendations made to the government and the Prime Minister to take moving forward. The third one being something the same committee made to the government in their very first report to the Prime Minister on his trip to India, which is around the need to brief opposition MPs on foreign interference. Read them in, get them the appropriate clearances, and brief them. I want to ask the member, how come this hasn't yet happened? It's been 5 years since it was first recommended to the Prime Minister.
Member for Yukon.
I thank my colleague for that question, and I would say that again we have processes in place. We have an intelligence access through NSICOP and other bodies to access intelligence and confidential briefings. These processes are in place, and again, I welcome further recommendations from our Special Rapporteur when that takes place.
Comment?